from three-point range. Smart's got his second basket of the night. It could go. No good. And a good game so far as we conclude the first quarter. It's the Celtics up 2. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
It's a Halloween broadcast of the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs hit the road for a duel with the Phoenix Suns. Be there.
Up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. When you consider how the Celtics are doing, Steve and Clark, your thoughts?
And that first quarter was all about pace, guys, because this club really got out into transition, and that's how they've built this lead.
They like to play fast, and they're doing a nice job filling the lanes.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. On the floor for Boston, C.J. Miles is out there with Paul Millsap. Then there's Nate Walters. Then it's Alexis Ajinça, and it's Korver in at the 2.
Andre Iguodala got off to a hot start last season. He shot 45% from long range through the first 2 months of the season. But after a hamstring injury, his percentages and his aggressiveness all seem to tail off.
And Steve, for Iguodala, the perfect example of a player who doesn't have to score to help his team win. He does so many other things.
He does, Kevin. He's an excellent defender. He runs the floor. He handles the ball. He's a good passer and a pretty solid three-point shooter as well. Not a volume three-point shooter, but he will make selective threes. And so all in all, Iguodala, an excellent player.
Roy Hibbert's checked in for Boston. Ross comes in for C.J. Miles. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, what do you have?
Well, guys, Kyle Korver, of course, one of the league's most dangerous shooters. He said three-point shooting had better be the best part of my game, but if that's all you do, you don't get to play that much in the NBA. I try and be solid all around. I enjoy basketball and not just shooting. Kevin, he's a gamer.
He comes from a basketball family, Doris. He has that deep love of the game. You can just tell. Thanks. Brooklyn trailing. Pass to Plumlee. Kicks to Diaw. Feeds it to Allen. To the right side. 6 on the shot clock. The kick out to Walker. And it's wide right. Hits off the rim.
Now you can see why the defense is willing to let him take that shot. That's really not his range.
Here's Ross. He wants to get the Millsap and does. And a missed layup.
And they force the miss with that good defensive rotation. They're playing well together as a unit.
Iguodala kicks to Diaw. Pass to Allen. That's out of bounds. Brooklyn will retain possession. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for the Celtics. Barea comes in for Walters.
Tim Duncan. J.J. Barea.
Here's Diaw. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Allen kicks to Plumlee. Allen against Ross. Got a piece of it. Diaw with the steal. 3-on-3. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Ray Allen, the all-time leader in three-point field goals. And tell you what, his shooting stroke, so admired throughout his career, but it's a combination of the consistency of his effort and the purity of that stroke.
The first free throw is good. And Ray Allen, the former 5th pick overall back in 1996, a 10-time All-Star over the course of his career, gold medalist and a multiple NBA champion.
Yeah, I think people forget how good Ray Allen was as an all-around scoring player early in his career. And not to mention a pretty good performance on the silver screen early in his career as well. He's still known as Jesus Shuttlesworth. Certainly, that name is worthy of reverence.
Well, it is, and I like the way you kind of pull that out of your bag of tricks. You've done your homework again.
Always.
Again. The Celtics with the lead. The pass to Korver. He dishes it to Barea. Unloads. And it's Iguodala with the rebound. The Nets have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. The feed now to Allen. And that's a foul called on J.J. Barea. That is his first foul of the game. James Harden. He's checked in for Ray Allen.
The lineup for the Nets. James Harden.
Here's Walker. Now the dish to Harden. 6 to shoot. Here's Diaw. Good on the shot. Diaw's got his first bucket in this one.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening, Steve.
No, it's off the charts. It really is. And defensively, I mean, they have to start shutting down some of those lanes to the hoop.
Now here's Duncan. Brooklyn with the rebound. Iguodala's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
Brooklyn Nets going all in last season, a record $89 million in luxury tax payments, on a mission to win a championship. Of course, it didn't happen, but the question is, where do they go from here?
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over. At this point of the game, always important to stay focused, and while the coach goes over the game plan, these players are getting a much-needed chance. To rehydrate and refuel with Gatorade. And guys, we know the drill well, all 3 of us drinking the Gatorade too.
Yeah, no question. Right. I mean, Kevin, people have no idea the fatigue that can set in during a telecast. And so it's important for us to stay hydrated all game long.
Clark, you're always hydrated.
Yeah, I try to be, but it's usually with a combination of H2O and Gatorade.
I love Gatorade. And look at Steve, got the Gatorade shirt on.
Yeah, he's really immersed in the Gatorade.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Well, Kev, Coach Lionel Hollins helped define the Grizzlies' grit and grind style and was asked if he'd replicate it with the Nets. He said, quote, "We're going to be aggressive and tough. We'll play together and never quit. But how our style will be is up to the group. The key is creating a system that fits them and allows them to excel." Kevin, back to you.
As a coach, you've got to adopt your talent, Doris. Thanks. Up the floor, and the jam by Harden.
Textbook example there of how to use defense. To create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
To the inside, Walker. It's good. The assist that time from Harden. Harden's got 4 assists now tonight.
I tell you what, fellas, we're seeing some really good ball movement out there.
Yeah, well, 10 of their last 12 points have come off of assists.
Here is Ajinça. It's rebounded by Boris Diaw.
I tell you, the defense was right there, just waiting, doing a nice job of anticipating that play.
Steve, every team needs tough interior defense to be successful.
Yeah, so close to picking that pass off, guys.
At least he got a hand on it. He did what he needed to do to make sure it didn't hit the target.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Paul Millsap's checked in for Duncan. And it's C.J. Miles in for Terrence Ross. And then for Brooklyn, Zeller comes in for Boris Diaw. And it's Exum in for Walker. Now, here's Exum. 5-point lead, the biggest of the game. An indication there of why the scoreboard looks like it does. Very passive defense.
But the finish was anything but passive.
No, he hammered that down, Clark. Superb above the rim action.
Nate Walters checked in for J.J. Barea. The Nets have shot 2 free throws, and they're 1 of 2 so far.
Well, this is a club that shot 75% as a team from the free throw line last season.
And for the Celtics, they're shooting 39% from the floor. Not their best. Here's Walters. And he uses the glass on the way.
I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Now, here is Harden. Tight defense on him. Exum with a wide open look. And again, no good by Brooklyn. Here's Miles. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. That'll do it for the first half. Nets lead by 6. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Thank you, Kevin. Andre, what has been the underlying principle of how you and the team have taken the floor tonight?
Communication. Communication doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but in order for us to be a good team, everyone has to be on the same page, and we're doing it tonight.
Andre, thank you. Kevin, one of those intangibles you always look to.
All right, Doris, thank you, and stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter underway. Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far.
The Celtics have not defended well at all against Harden.
He's got 8 points and 4 assists as well.
Celtics trail by 6. So for Brooklyn now, they've got Iguodala, Harden out there with Kemba Walker. Then there's Boris Diaw, and it's Plumlee in at the 5, roaming the paint. Ross passes to Barea. Now here's Ross. Shoots from the elbow. Can't get it to go. Walker with some nice D.
Terrence Ross delivering on his promise as a shooter in year 2. His percentage is up in every category, especially beyond the arc.
Now here's Hibbert. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. 4-on-3 break. It's stolen by Barea. Here's Korver for 3. Here's Hibbert. Nice work on the board. He's paying off with the basket. Hibbert's got the first points of the second half here for the Celtics. Outside, Walker. Here's Plumlee. And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty. Clark, I'm guessing that wasn't the plan for the D on that trip.
And I'm agreeing with you there. Once they opened the lane up for him, that was a little emphasis on that finish.
Take what the defense gives you and then just power it home, right? Why not?
And Ross, boy, he's got a smooth stroke, seems to always be on balance, good feet and fundamentals. And with that 6'7" frame, he's able to shoot and make tough shots over taller defenders. I think he's a legit floor spacer.
That's kind of a shocker. The defense was there, but it wasn't right in his face. It's kind of out of character for him to miss those.
That's his first personal foul.
And Terrence Ross, not just a shooter, he's a dynamite athlete. Steve, a devastating finisher in transition.
Yeah, still developing his handle, Kevin, you know, in terms of attacking the basket on his own. But if he can develop that, the sky's the limit for him.
Terrence Ross, I think, has a chance to be an elite 3-and-D player at the NBA level. Has 3-point shooting and defense for the uninitiated. Tremendous athleticism and a beautiful stroke make him an entertaining player to watch.
Oh! How did that go in?
Unbelievable.
Oh my, I can't believe what I just saw. Did you see that? There was no need for the heat, and yet he still made it.